And I'm live. Well, I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to try and rebroadcast the Delusion Solution radio show or blog show 3 hours long. My bandwidth is still an issue, so I don't know how well this is going to do, but we can give it a shot. I do have an article I have to write for the book. Um, but yeah, if you just want to hang out, listen, I will find a way to get into text chat and try and pay attention to what's going on in here. But I'm just going to rebroadcast the Delusion Solution radio rerun that I was on. So if you want to hang around for 3 hours or so, I'm going to try this. I don't know that it's going to work. I can already see bandwidth is starting to add up. Looks like I may already be buffering, but yeah, we're going to fire this thing up and see what happens. So stick around, try and have some fun. Let me know if you can't hear it. Hey, good morning, sunshine. So yeah, I'm gonna do this while I'm trying to write this article, just so we've got something, and I'm getting some watch time or whatever. But I'm gonna try and rebroadcast this. It may not sound right, so if it's too much or not loud enough, um, speak up, and I'll see what I can do to make this thing work. I'm going to try because I want to actually get this stored into my files on this channel. I don't know. We'll see what we can say.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Delusion Solution Live Radio Show. I'm your host, Tara Dawn. Rudy Smith is my co-host. And if you're just now joining us, our call-in number is 319-527-6208. To listen in, press 1 on your dial pad if you want to participate in the conversation. We also have our website, freedomizerradio.com, that you can listen live and participate in our chat room. And we invite any and everybody, and we have a few listeners already. So tonight we have our guest, Ron Neitzel. I don't know, Ron, if I'm mispronouncing your name, but you can duly correct me. Anyways, welcome in and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm what's referred to by my neighbors as the Green Gardener. And they eventually kicked it over to Green Wizard and kept hounding me about what was I doing and explain it to us and give us the instructions so that we can follow this. So I spent some time, wrote the original book at 500 pages and said, this isn't going to work. That's where we're at. 5 years later, we've now got the book you just read.
The Green Wizard's Guide. And I found it to be very entertaining and very informative. And, this book, I think, would go a long way if you're a prepper, if you're a regular gardener, if you're a survivalist. This is a good, handy book to have. So what made you choose? I mean, they call you the Green Wizard. Why do they call you the Green Wizard?
Well, my problem with the yard, as I tried to explain in the story in the book, is that I was going with the what the TV said and what the big box store said, and I was dumping all the chemicals in my yard. And the more chemicals I dumped, the worse it got. And I became weed king. I had the best weeds in the city you couldn't kill, and I had all the chemicals in my garage. It was absolutely incredible, and it cost me a darn fortune, and it killed my yard. I no longer had grass. I had weeds. Nothing but weeds.
That seems to be a problem that just about everybody on the planet has an issue with. And, your book addresses the weeds. And it actually talks about, the weeds being there for a reason.
Yeah, but when you keep adding chemicals, you're making it worse. And Mother Nature can't fix the global problem, the global condition. And that's what I finally came to realize. And that's what made everybody start referring to me as the Green Wizard. It's like all of a sudden, after I threw all the chemicals away and woke up to what I was doing wrong, all of a sudden my yard blossomed back. The soil came back. The clay went away, all naturally. I didn't have to dig up a thing. Everything came back.
Yeah, it's interesting because I have seen people literally till up their yard. In fact, I actually witnessed this about a year or two ago. Some neighbors next door, they had stuff, all kinds of stuff. There was stuff that was growing. I don't even think that there was a scientific name for it or whatever. There was just strange stuff coming up from it. So, they would be out there, every so many weeks or every other month or whatever, and the whole family would be out there picking weeds out and stuff like that, and then, trying to cut the grass and stuff. And then one summer or in the spring, I saw them literally just turn the whole yard upside down. Okay, I mean, they chopped everything up. They took a rake and they tried raking over everything to make it look nice and stuff like that. And they started planting grass seed and hoping that that would do it. And then, sure enough, the grass was growing, and sure enough, more weeds were showing up. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this didn't take long for their new weed garden to just spring up.
Right.
I mean, I tried giving him some tips about the grass as far as, and I don't know, maybe you've seen this before years ago where people would put grass seed out and then they would put like a bed sheet over their yard, over their front yard. I guess, I guess keep the birds out also from getting the seeds or whatever. But,
right.
But it just, weeds were everywhere again.
Yeah, and it is a global condition, and it's Mother Nature trying to fix what arrogant man has done. And that's the nicest way of putting it. I mean, when they came up with the NP, NP scales, and convinced everybody that we have to go with the NPKs, and we've got to buy the oil companies' chemicals, and we've got to put these in our yards, and this is the only way to do this. We forgot our training. We forgot what the Indians taught us. We forgot what the Indians taught the Pilgrims, and we arrogantly followed the chemical companies and just kept throwing money at it, throwing money at it, throwing money at it. And now we've got what is almost as bad as a chemically dependent child on our hands in our yards, and we try and call it grass. And that's not what we've got. Not at all.
Well,
grass is all natural. Grass grows so deep in the soil.
Right. That is true. You made this book very fun. Was that the purpose, to make it fun and very entertaining as well as informative?
When I originally set out to write this book, I sat down to put all the technical everything in. It was 500 pages, and I could not read the first chapter myself without falling asleep. I had to throw it away. And over time, I finally, kind of narrowed down, I want the millennials to be able to read this because they're the ones that are suffering the most. We've done the damage to their world. We need to help them and give them back this knowledge. I wanted everybody from 10 to 90 to be able to read this book and walk away with a laugh, be entertained, and still get all the information. That's why it's a chapterless book. There's no point in chapters. This is just a conversation. Let's sit down to some coffee. Let's discuss what I know. Let me share my knowledge, and let me try and save you some money with the 15 years of bad experiences I've had and show you the way I'm now doing it and saving a ton of money in the process.
Well, as I read this, I began to think, this is a wealth of information in this little book. It's all compiled into this, I'll just call it a handbook because that's basically what it is. It's a handbook it's a how-to book on making whatever you're doing better and being the best at what you're doing. Because I mean, I even learned some stuff, and I already knew that, especially some of the minerals that in our food that are sorely lacking because, like what you said, of the chemicals that are being used and that we don't get it. And I'm not going to say because I'm not going to mention that unless you want to, but one of the minerals I even take, it's a trace mineral and very important for your bones and joints. And the reason I have to take it externally is because we don't get enough of it in our soil anymore. And it doesn't get to the plants anymore.
Yeah, it's not in the food.
Not in the food.
Everything is gone. Back when they took the original American standard of what was digestible foods and what was a recommended daily allowance. I'm sure you've all heard of that. They took those original scales and they come away saying that a cup of spinach was enough for every individual once a week to get enough iron. Today's measurement is 12 cups of spinach. That's how depleted everything is. That's how bad this has become. And if we don't drastically change something, it's going to continue to get worse and nothing's going to grow.
And you hit upon something there because I remember going to a doctor some time ago, and a conversation was struck up about just vitamins and minerals in general. And the doctor told us, he says, you really have to actually shop where you buy your vitamins. Okay. He says, not all of these companies that put vitamins out are the vitamins really potent. Okay. I mean, they may be giving you whatever milligrams it says on the bottle, but the potency of the vitamins may be actually in question, which I wonder, is that due to the source material where they get the vitamins from? Okay, because I mean, all vitamins and minerals ultimately come from some type of natural source. Okay, it's not just manufactured in a laboratory. I mean, even then, the chemicals or whatever that they use to manufacture the stuff, they ultimately had to come from something that was natural in its basis form. But they were saying that even the vitamins, that literally all vitamins are not created equal, that there's junk vitamins that are out there.
Oh, God.
And then there's good vitamins. Okay, you're going to pay more, but once again, they're getting those minerals and vitamins from the source material. So is that do you think that that's directly tied into what we're seeing with basically impotent fruits and vegetables?
Yeah, it's a direct effect. It's like to understand that there are actually 6 different vitamin C's, and only 4 of them are absorbable by the human body, and that a lot of the vitamin companies are using the other 2. So you're not even absorbing what you think you're eating.
Wow.
We have to go back to the gardens. We have to go back to gardening our own stuff and fixing the gardens and fixing the farms and fixing our yards. We have to get back to nature and get what's readily available to man, created by Mother Nature, not from a chemical derivative.
I was amazed at how tall your tomato plants grew using your formula.
Yeah, that's 16 to 18 feet. That's standard. If I really pushed it and really trained it, I could probably get 20-footers out of them. But it's best to let Mother Nature run her course and not disturb her in a lot of cases.
So this is what the end result is. Yeah, this is what the end result is when you're actually able to have healthy soil, and that the soil is able to, reproduce and regenerate itself the correct way, rather than sticking all of these different fertilizers on steroids, basically. I mean, that's what's coming out of the box,
Yeah.
and I've seen pictures of supposedly fruits and vegetables that were supposed to be blue ribbon vegetables or whatever, but in actuality, the taste wasn't quite as good as what you would expect if you were getting something from pure soil that was really infused with all of the natural stuff that it needs to have.
Right.
Or your GMOs, exploding grapes or exploding watermelons.
Yeah,
I've
your
actually
GMO
seen that.
grapes and your watermelons will never reproduce. So don't bother trying to save seeds. Grocery store stuff is basically heading, if not already, all GMO. Do you want to be putting that in your system and in essence sterilize yourself? That's what's happening. It's that bad.
And you know what's really bad, Ron and Rudy, is the fact that Monsanto has created these GMO seeds, and that then the pollinate is cross-pollinating. I don't know if you can actually get away totally from it when the wind and the birds carry all this stuff across the field.
Like that, yeah.
Right. It's a matter of, well, the best way to tell, Mother Nature will attack GMO crops. So if something is cross-pollinated into your garden and you're running an all-natural garden, the plant that will be attacked will be the one that is not Mother Nature's way. A sick plant not receiving all of the GMO steroids, basically, and all of the chemicals that it needs to survive will get sick and die. And the bugs will come in and take it out.
Wow.
So that's, I used to think that the bugs were just pests to annoy you.
No, they're not. No. Bugs are your friends. Believe it or not, they're there to take out the sick plants. They're there to weed out the weak and to give you the best of the best. A healthy plant, a truly healthy plant, I don't care whether it's a grass, a weed, a flower, a pumpkin, a tomato plant, doesn't matter. A healthy one has no bugs, has no infestation in any way, shape, or form, because every one of these plants, by nature, has natural defenses to keep the bugs away. When those defenses drop under GMO conditions, the bugs invade. So if you just walk through your yard and you've got a bunch of bugs flying around, there's something wrong.
So,
Something's
Gary,
not right in the soil.
So let me ask you something as far as the GMO stuff, okay? Originally, I guess the bill of goods that we were fed for decades is that this was supposed to somehow fix whatever the food crisis supposedly is, or food shortage or whatever, and that through these technologies they can grow bigger, better, faster.
Obviously, that's not true.
Yeah, that's not true. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me, Gary, if I'm wrong, some countries actually don't even allow that stuff in their borders.
Oh yeah, right. They're outlawing GMOs across the board. Hawaii is right out there leading the battle. They're telling them GMOs are not allowed on the islands.
Well, the only place that isn't outlawing them, Ron, is the United States thus far.
Right. We're the only ones that Monsanto happens to be sequestered here, and they've got politicians in their pockets defending them.
Well, and the sad thing about it is that even when people, it's almost like taking a bad thing and really making it worse. It's like adding insult onto injury, because then you'll have people that will buy faulty fruits and vegetables. And then the worst thing that they do is they go home and then they microwave this stuff to warm it up. And it's like, okay, whatever little health benefit might have been left, okay, you just completely zapped it out.
Yep, you killed it. That radiation from microwaves should be outlawed. They're great for heating coffee. That's it. Throw them away, because they're destroying the food. You're right. What little bit of food is available once thrown in a microwave is now dead. You've just killed it. Any possibility of a nutritional value coming out of a microwave is gone.
Yeah, I haven't used the microwave in years because of that. That's one of the reasons. Not to mention the fact of what it does to your system. I don't even do that. I don't. It's more shelf space than anything right now.
But you know, I think that this is the deal with the devil that people have made now, to where everybody wants something instantaneously. Okay,
right.
And it's like, okay, you know, yeah, we want it right now. We don't want to sit down and pour water in an old-fashioned pot, heat it up on the stove or whatever, or cook vegetables that way. Yeah, and the thing is that you know, that's kind of where that's come from, and you know, it's like we want it right now.
Right. But here's my approach to this. Yeah, it's nice to want right now. It's nice to have the instantaneous world of the internet and all answers at our fingertips. Yet we've lost information, and I had to write this book. If you want it, can't you have it at a cost savings? When's the last time you walked into a grocery store? Oh, my book is on Amazon. It's at Barnes & Noble. It's available on ebook all over the world. It's available to everybody.
The Green Wizard Guide.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Well, when the last time you went into the grocery store, and let's just say, you know, offhandedly, you walk in and you just wanted a small bin of cherry tomatoes. What's their value? $2 for a little small hand thing of cherry tomatoes?
Roughly $2-3. Yeah,
about that.
Okay. A packet of seeds that's going to give you hundreds of plants and potentially even hundreds more cherry tomatoes, 89 cents.
We've become lazy.
Yeah, what's the instantaneous expense and savings here? You're talking about hundreds of dollars worth of cherry tomatoes in, you know, you're talking, you know, weeks, 75 days for cherry tomatoes. And you've got hundreds.
And you can grow them indoors as well.
You can. Well, cherry tomatoes, yeah, they'll grow great indoors, as long as you understand the principles that I try to address in the Green Wizard's Guide, which is understanding the necessity for the food web. That's what they've attacked. It's the microscopic level missing from the soil that has caused this problem. And it is such a minute thing that you don't see it. It's the microscopic level. It's the conversation piece. It's the dinner bell. It's the food line for every root out there, from your trees, from your flowers, from your grass. Those roots come in contact with the soil, that come in contact with the food web, that go out and bring back the nutrients, that bring back the vitamins, that bring back the minerals, that bring back everything that plant needs to grow and do what it's there to do. And they came in with these chemicals and slowly, very methodically, had us pay for it and kill the food web off and cause the soil conditions, which is now our flooding conditions. Every time it rains a half an inch, everybody's worried about everything flooding because soil no longer retains moisture. It has become clay. The organic matter is gone. Yeah. But it's not actually. It is actually restorable. And that's what I address in my book. This is a restorable condition that we can handle this year, right now. Starting day one from reading the book.
So what you're saying is that the clay can actually be reversed back into regular soil.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Because once the organic life returns and the microscopic level begins to return, Mother Nature returns under the ground, under the grass, under what you can see, and starts repairing everything. So if you give her a little bit of help and you ring the dinner bell, and I explain it all in the book. I've got a story in my book where I was just testing a theory and just messing around with my city councilman and what have you. I parked my car out in the front yard, 3,000 pounds, not that big a deal. In most yards today, that would not have any effect. It could sit out there for a week and have no effect. In my yard, in under 2 hours, it had already sunk in each tire a good 2 inches.
Oh, wow.
That's how alive my soil is. I drove the car off of there, put it back up on the pavement to make him all happy because now it's parked where it's supposed to be. And it in less than a day and a half, all of that soil had picked itself right back up and was back to where all the rest of the soil was. And I didn't have to do a thing. It had returned on its own. Mother Nature brought her troops in and pushed that all back where it was supposed to be.
Oh, wow.
So then the secret to what you're saying then is being able to have an excellent garden or a good garden, great garden, is that you have to have a proper understanding of what you've got. I mean, I guess you have to begin with the basics then that, what have I got in order to be able to assess what to do next.
Right. And it's not a condition of what part of the United States I live in, what part of Canada, what part of Asia, England, Australia. It doesn't matter where you are. All of the information is the same when it comes to the food web. There are microscopic differences per each plant that are a necessity, but Mother Nature handles that for you. You don't need to worry about it. If you follow just Mother Nature's basic steps and we repeat what nature does, and I explained it all in the book as easily as I could possibly come up with a way to explain it, Mother Nature will come in and repair everything and replenish it all. And all we're doing is giving her a helping hand and standing back.
Now, Ron, let me ask you this. Does it matter what part of the country you're in as far as rainfall? Because I know some parts, they go through drought, there's some parts or whatever. So you can actually bring the soil back irregardless of what type of precipitation that you have.
Yes, because any precipitation, whether it be the morning dew or a half an inch of rain, should absorb into your soil, not wash off into the streets.
And
I can watch. I can sit and I can watch in the morning as the fog lifts in my neighborhood, and I'm sitting out here drinking coffee, and everything is steaming off the yards, and water's running down people's driveways and everything else, and it's already absorbed into my front yard. My yard's practically dry already, and we're still looking at a fog bank. My yard drinks it up that quickly. So when we hit the heat of summer here, and we reach those almost 90, 100-degree days here in Cleveland,
right,
and the neighbors are running for their garden hoses and their sprinklers, their yards are starting to burn up, turn brown, and do their thing. My yard is bright green and growing like crazy, and I don't have to lift a finger. All I have to do is cut the grass. That's the way it was meant to be.
Yeah, it sounds exactly. So what about these people that use things like Roundup, it's one of the chemicals, I guess.
You're cussing at me. Don't cuss at me. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I'll get my tinfoil hat. Don't you cuss at me. No Roundup. Monsanto just lost a major lawsuit, $137 million to one man they killed, and he's still alive. He used this stuff per his job, day after day, year after year, and it killed him. This stuff, once you put it down, does not dissolve. It does not dilute. It does not go away. It is a nightmare for the water filtration companies to get it out of the water table once it's in there, and they retrieve it. Toxic, living death that they're selling to you and you're using. It destroys everything it comes in contact with. Nothing survives.
Now, Ron, let me ask you this, because you've hit on something here, and this is something that I have struggled with over the years, and for other reasons, okay? But you're bringing this up in reference to food supply, being able to bring your yard and your soil back from the brink of extinction, basically. These companies that put these products out, you would think that, you know, they no pun intended, that they field tested this stuff, okay, on actual soil to see what the results would be. And how do they?
Yeah, they went out to kill a weed with.
Yeah, no one bothered
soil.
no one bothered to sit and look to see what the environmental effect would be, as far as with animals or humans, what would happen as to what this stuff is.
No, well,
Our
part
bee
of your board
population is
sitting
down.
on the FDA. You have no fear. You just put out whatever you want, because it's in their best interest to look the other way, because they're on the board. They make money at the sale of this death product, death to anything it comes in contact with.
Well, and Tara just mentioned something just now a moment ago, where she was talking about the bees being affected by this, and I don't think that people
nearly extinct the honeybee.
Yeah, I don't think that
I don't think it was the Roundup. I have a very sneaky suspicion it's what they're spraying in the air to deflect the sun and to stop the greenhouse problem. Well, yeah, that's where I was headed. We don't know what's in those chemtrails.
Well, actually, we do. There's barium, strontium,